Morning, guys. Hey, just want to share a little bit from the one-year devotional with you. And really what we read this morning is really just hitting me personally. I feel like it's what the Lord is just really talking to me about lately. And so in the 1 year, what we have here is in the Old Testament, we have Solomon building the temple of the Lord, right? And so it when it tells us about him building it, it gives all these details, all these measurements, what it looked like, how it was decorated, what the material was made of, the exact dimensions. And it's very exact, very intricate. And so it's sharing all this with us, Solomon building the temple. And then we get to the psalm reading this morning, and we actually have one of the few psalms that's written by Solomon. And so let me read it to you. It says, unless the Lord builds the house, its builders work in vain. Unless Adonai guards the city, the guard keeps watch in vain. And so we have Solomon who built this beautiful temple. Solomon has all this wisdom, all this wealth, all this, he basically can do anything he wants. And he builds the temple, but he says, unless the builders who build it, unless Adonai builds it, the builders build in vain. And let's go back and remember what happened. Like, how did Solomon, how did he get all these details to build it? How did he know how to build the temple? Well, he got the details from his father, David. And David got them from God. So God gives the details, all the instruction, all the measurements, all the materials, all the information. He gives it to David. David gives it to Solomon, and then Solomon builds it. And then what Solomon says here, hey guys, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders are building in vain. Unless God guards the city, the guards guard it in vain. And what he's communicating here is an idea that we have got to rely on God for everything. It goes back to this idea that we're not the center of the universe. God is. Everything's not revolving around us. It's revolving around God. And anything that we do, we need to learn to rely on God for. It reminds me of John 15 that, Jesus said, if you abide in me and I abide in you, you're going to bear a lot of fruit. But if you don't abide in me, you're not going to bear any fruit. You can't bear fruit unless you abide in me, unless I'm your source, unless you're relying on me. And, we may have wisdom, we may have know-how, we may have skills. But what he's saying here is, we've got to learn to rely on God for everything that we do. Quit doing things in our own wisdom. Our own wisdom gets us in trouble. Our own wisdom doesn't bear fruit. Our own abilities don't bear fruit. Our own skills don't bear fruit. Our own wealth doesn't bear fruit. It is when we learn to get to that place of, God, I need you. He says, unless God guards the city, the guards guard in vain. So you can have, a city back at this time had walls around it, and they would station guards all over. So you could station 1,000 guards looking for the enemy coming. And he says, unless God guards the city, the guards are guarding in vain. So we may put our hope and our trust in men. We may put our hope and trust in ourselves. But God wants us to put our hope and trust in Him. So I just encourage you this morning, put your hope and your trust in God and allow Him to work things out and do what He says. Bless you guys. I hope you have a great day. Rely on the Lord this morning. Bless you.